Kruger National Park, a place we both dreamed about since we were kids.
A place you grow up reading about, seeing in documentaries.
And then one day, you finally get to experience it for yourself.
And somehow, it was even better than what we imagined. We didn't expect how wild this trip would get. We entered the Kruger National Park through the Numbi Gate and drove all the way down to Malelane. We stayed 5 nights inside the camp.
We decided to camp the whole way because we didn't just wanted to visit the Kruger. We wanted to experience all of it.
The first few minutes almost didn't feel real. Impala everywhere. Like literally everywhere. At some point, you just stopped counting. But then, things got even more interesting.
Cars piled up on the road looking at something. Hyenas with their babies lying right next to the road as if they owned the park.
And even a snake, just casually crossing the road. Not one of the animals that I expected or really wanted to see.
We drove down all the way to Malelane Gate to check in for our camp for the night. A massive elephant bull at the gate. From there we went to our first stop, Balule Camp, which is only about 3 kilometers from the Malelane Gate. It is a satellite camp for Bergendal, which means it is one of the smallest camps in the Kruger. And honestly, one of the most special.
No shops, no restaurants, just 15 campsites and 5 bungalows and total quiet. It really feels like you're in the wild here. We set up camp and explored the area. From the camp, the river was visible with hippos and crocodiles basking in the sun. The perfect autumn day. That evening, we had a braai under the stars, and not long after, we realized we weren't alone.
We had a hyena circling the camp, literally just walking up and down the fence. I had to remember Charisma that she can't pet it.
I know it's a dangerous animal, but it was just so cute and fluffy. At around 1 a.m., I woke up to branches snapping. I grabbed a flashlight and looked outside, and there he was, a massive elephant right next to the fence. And the fence between us, barely electric, not enough to stop an elephant. Lying on the floor in a tent with an elephant on the other side of the fence. Quite a scary feeling.
The next morning, everything felt calm. That's the thing about the Kruger. The one moment it's intense, the next it's peaceful.
We headed out early, driving the gravel roads towards Afsal picnic site. We returned, packed our camp and traveled to Bergendal to refuel.
And that's where we saw our first buffalo herd. This was a massive herd with their calves, easily 500 of them. We then traveled to Crocodile Bridge just to see what it looks like. From there, we made our way to Lower Sabie Rest Camp, a lot busier, but beautifully laid out in tar blocks, so very easy to distinguish the different campsites.
That evening, we joined a sunset drive hosted by the park, and that's when we saw them.
Lions, with their cubs next to the Sabie River, and a stunning sunset in the background. It doesn't get better than this. We also encountered other animals such as elephant, hippos, giraffes, and crocodiles. The next morning at 5 a.m., we went on a guided walk with the park officials. We made sure that they had weapons to protect us if we had to encounter dangerous animals.
About 5 kilometers, nearly 3 hours, and then suddenly we were surrounded by a buffalo herd with babies. The same herd that we saw on our drive to Lower Sabie the day before.
This was quite scary. I still can't believe we did that. Unfortunately, we didn't encounter any other fascinating animals on our walk, but this is something you have to do when visiting the Kruger. After the walk, we packed up camp and then we had breakfast at this stunning mug and bean restaurant that overlooks the Sabie River.
Then we headed to Skukuza Rest Camp. On our way there, we saw our first kudus, which is always spectacular.
Skukuza is basically a town. It has a restaurant, a bank, a petrol station, an airport, a golf course, and the best park shop.
we found a secluded campsite surrounded by bush and a few monkeys. We explored the camp and then did our laundry.
This is where I lost my favorite sock.
Tragic.
We explored the park shop and bought the best steaks for our braai that night. Even a beautiful bottle of Kruger Park wine, which we kept as a keepsake for our wine rack.
That night, we made steak and chips. The next morning, we packed up camp and headed to Satara Rest Camp.
On the way there, we stopped at Balule Dam where we saw lots of animals. We waited for the crocodiles to catch an impala, but unfortunately, no action. Then we went to see the famous baobab tree. Top Gear's lovers will definitely know this tree. This is also where we saw 2 southern ground hornbills. This bird is large, weighing about 3.5 to 4 kilograms and measuring between 90 and 110 centimeters in height. A big, endangered animal, but not a pretty one.
We arrived at Satara, which has a very big campground. Here you must arrive early and be lucky to find a campsite next to the main fence. We found a site in the middle of the camp, set up our tent and headed out for a night drive with the park officials.
I thought this would be a nice birthday treat, and it did not disappoint. We were treated to lions running underneath a vehicle while on the hunt, as well as a massive elephant and hippo right next to the vehicle. Unfortunately, we didn't see the lions again that night, but we heard them at the camp throughout the whole night.
The next morning at 5 a.m., we went on a sunrise drive with the park officials, excited to see the lions, but not even one was spotted. We saw a jackal before even leaving the campsite, and some zebra on the way with many elephants.
We returned, packed up our tent, and was ready to drive to our last campsite, Balule Satellite Camp.
Stopped at Olifant's camp for a quick lunch at the restaurant that overlooks the Olifants River. And yes, we had to try the crocodile strips and steaks. It tasted like chicken, just a little bit undercooked.
We spent the afternoon observing the river and watched the sunset before heading back to the camp.
This camp had no electricity, only lanterns.
Kruger National Park gave us one last show, and of course, seeing as this was our last night in the Kruger, we just had to braai one last time, surrounded by the African bush and all its secrets.
The next morning we packed up our tent with heavy hearts, but this quickly changed when we saw a pack of wild dogs out on the hunt. Probably 15 of them running into the road, chasing zebra and impala.
I also spotted a big lion drinking water at a dam and then lazily rolling around in the sun. Unfortunately, we didn't see any cheetahs, leopard or rhinos, so we will have to return to check them off our list. We wanted to exit the Kruger through Balule Gate, but first we stopped at Kruger Gate to see if the statue was still there and to recreate a family photo. There was just one problem. We forgot to fill up fuel at Satara, as we were distracted by the wild dogs and the lion.
And we were already on our way.
At first, it didn't seem like a big deal, but then the fuel started dropping fast.
We started coasting, switching off where we could, and suddenly it got very real.
I really thought we were going to be stranded in the middle of the Kruger. No signal, lions around, and I was not planning on running to get help.
Luckily, we made it.
With less than 1 liter left.
We used the Balule Gate to exit the Kruger and spent the night in Pretoria with family.
The next morning, we drove to the Gariep Dam where we camped right on the water. Unreal experience. This forever resort is worth a visit. And did I mention I was amazed by the bathrooms? Clean and massive, with hair dryers and lots of mirrors. A girl's dream camp bathroom.
The Gariep Dam was overflowing, still showing flood levels from the rain before we left on our trip, so we decided to explore and took a walk over the dam wall. Unfortunately, we missed the tour of the dam wall, but we wanted to enjoy the last bit of daylight next to the water.
That night was freezing cold, but perfect. The electric blanket and Tian's body heat saved me. The next day, we drove the last stretch back home to Patensie, where we were welcomed by very happy dogs.
After 2 weeks on the road, we were completely exhausted, but it was totally worth it.
Our hearts were full and we were rejuvenated for the year ahead.
And for those wondering, the bakkie is still running and almost ready for our next adventure.
Next up, we will be exploring the new Bavihaans Canyon hiking trail. So subscribe and follow us on socials to be part of our next adventure.